Here's what I'm thinking, guys. I'm thinking cocoa coir and bush beans. Last year I grew pole beans in here. They took up a lot of room, but bush beans compact. So what I'm thinking about doing is growing some of these espadas, which is a green bush bean. I liked them. They were pretty good this year. And I'm going to grow them in this cup. I've got 4 of them planted out. All I got to do is water. First thing I need to do is get these things sprouted and off to a good start. And then I'm thinking about poking a whole bunch of holes in here, right? And then I'm going to suspend it in a 5-gallon bucket. And I'm going to grow them cracky method. And I'm going to let the roots come out from the sides and down into the solution. And hopefully they won't swirl up. They'll find their way out. And I think we're going to be able to get some good harvests of green beans off of this, growing it cracky style in an 8-ounce cup. I think that'll be neat. So let's get these sprouted and planted. So come back and check me out here on Indoor Hydroponics. It's getting bright in here. I'm doing this thing with my eye. See you guys later. Bye. Here is our green beans, guys, and they have been growing right in this little 8-ounce cup of just cocoa coir type of thing, keeping them watered. Have not given them any feedings to this point, and they are going along great. Remember, this is a bush bean variety. I'm growing 4 plants. Going to see how much harvest I can get growing out of an 8-ounce cup. Now, I tore the bottom off type of thing and kind of teased the roots out the bottom, and I also poked some holes around the sides, around the outside, just to add a little bit of oxygen in there to the roots. What I have going on here is your standard 5-gallon bucket. Yes, it is food safe. Someone asked me that. Of course, all my buckets are food safe. And so in here I've got some Grow Big formula going on in there, about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of that. And I also have a little bit of CalMag mixed in there just for funsies. And what I'm going to do is drop this in and grow this cracky style just like this, okay? And boom. What we're looking for here is just to make sure that the roots hit that water. See that? See how it's hitting the water? Perfect. We want to encourage it to grow down into the water, keeping the top nice and dry. I'd like to keep the top dry, and that'll keep away all those fungus gnats and things of that nature. So, let's come back and check out the progress very soon. Bye. Holy shit. Alright guys, what we have going on here is some serious crapola. We've got some yellowing leaves here on this bush bean plant. Looks pretty, it's just struggling all over in terms of appearance. It is flowering and it's probably going to put on some beans and things of that nature. But most of the time when we think of yellowing leaves, we think of nitrogen deficiency. There isn't enough nitrogen. You know, gardening pretty much tells us we need to boost up our nitrogen levels when we see like yellowing tomato leaves or cucumber leaves, things of that nature. But with bush beans or pole beans, it's interesting, okay? They could turn yellow when there isn't enough nitrogen. They can also turn yellow when there's a nutrient deficiency or when there's too much nitrogen in the water. And how do I know this? Well, about a week ago I switched out the nutrients. It was about 400 parts per million is what it was at. They were growing out. They grew so tall that they ended up flipping over, broke some of the branches off a little bit, so I kind of mended them up a little bit just to carry on the growing, and that kind of worked. The problem is I did a nutrient change and kicked it up to about almost 1,000 parts per million, which I know better not to do that, but I did it anyway. And you know what? This is the result. Too much nitrogen, yellowing of leaves, and we just got too much nutrient going on in here. The plant, it just generally just looks pretty poor. And another thing that I'm noticing is I'm not going to get a whole lot of production anyway out of 4 seeds, so we might have to kick this up a notch, and we might have to go another route with this. Weaker nutrient solution, and I might even just grow some of these in perlite and maybe a little cocoa mix. So let's get started on that. But first, I guess maybe I'll do a close-up on some of these plants here. I'm going to let them go out a little bit longer. They are flowering. They're probably going to put on some beans type of thing, so I might as well continue to grow, even though I'm going to call this a colossal failure. So as indicated, we wanted to go with that 8-inch cup filled with cocoa. 4 seeds. They all germinated, kicked out out. Problem is there just wasn't any kind of support to keep these bush beans up, and so what they did was they ended up falling over and breaking over. I mean, it was like that. So I took some aluminum foil and kind of foiled them up as some protection, and it seemed to work out, man. I mean, the plants didn't die or anything like that. In fact, this one's okay. What's interesting is this one doesn't have the aluminum foil, and this is the one that's getting those really yellowing leaves, okay? And you notice some blotchiness going on the leaves type of thing. This is just a poor grow, and maybe it isn't suited for hydroponic growing in just water culture in and of itself. But I mean, one of the things that I was reading online is you can get yellowing leaves from root rot, but you would notice root rot, and these are some beautiful roots right here, crystal clear and white. There is no root rot going on right now in this, so that just leads me to believe that the only particular problem going on in here is just too much nitrogen, and we get these yellowing type leaves. It's almost probably a burn, I would imagine. So not too pleased with this grow. So let's go a different method, though, hydroponic, because hydroponic doesn't mean just growing in water. It means growing in a soilless environment, which could be perlite. You know, another important factor that just dawned on me before we continue, and I think it's worth noting, is that I used a grow formula on this, which is typically higher in nitrogen, lower in the other two numbers, which is phosphate and potash, or potassium and potash. And I probably would have gone better using a bloom formula from the very start, which is lower in nitrogen, higher in the other two concentrations, and that probably would have worked out a whole lot better in a water culture like this. So I think next time that I want to do this, I'll probably just use a bloom formula from the beginning of the grow to the end, and I think that would have eliminated this as well. So Espinata green bean. What I've learned is we are going to need lots of green beans, and I learned this from the outdoor grow, and I don't know why I didn't apply it in here. We're going to need lots of green beans in here to get a good amount of beans. Now, what's cool about this is growing in containers, we can do this. We can plant them densely. They're going to get plenty of nutrient in a diluted form on a regular basis. It's going to be cool, man. So let's just give these a little push. I don't know, what did I plant? 10 seeds? I don't know. And I don't want these things growing out of control. I just want enough to get a harvest or two. Now listen. I've also learned a lesson here too, is to plant these not all the way to the top. This couple inches of ridge here will provide plenty of support for the vines to hit on without bending over. So I think that's cool. Now, let's water these babies in good. Alright guys, we got everything planted out, looks good, watered in sufficiently. I'm going to put a damp dish towel over the top of it, keep the moisture in, creates a little bit of a humidity dome, and within 72 hours we should have some beans sprouting up in there. Come back, I'll show you how to do a poor man's Dutch bucket. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel here. As always, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will talk to you later here on Indoor Hydroponics. Thanks, bye.